Okay, ladies and gentlemen, just finished off Jim Butcher's Blood Rites. This is the sixth Dresden Files book, and not really going to be an end in sight. I'm going to be moving right on to the next one after this one. This thing is chock full of revelations, and those I think are more important than the actual two plot lines, even though they're obviously part of it. But the two plots that go in here are: one, Harry is hired by a filmmaker because he believes that this bad luck type of spell called an entropy curse has been cast upon him because the women around him keep dying these gruesome deaths. And so he hires in Harry to be there while he's making a film to stop this from happening. He doesn't find out till it's too late that it is a pornographer, and he's got to be on a pornography set, live and in person, to keep watch and see what's going to happen. There is a problem in that it's a studio that escaped from another studio to become its own studio, and that's where the conflict is coming and this curse comes from, which Harry has to go discover as a detective. That sort of naughty part to it is you're not getting anything illicit in here. It's the one day he's on set when something's being filmed, he describes it as kind of messy and uncomfortable looking for everyone. They have to keep getting interrupted for makeup and camera angles and all this business. There's nothing titillating about it at all, despite these books establishing that Harry can be easily excited. I think Butcher tries to sort of smooth things out. He wasn't going for a porn book. And so the filmmaker himself, they mentioned, well, he's been on various talk shows like Oprah. I had to stop for a minute and think, and certainly I had watched a lot of talk shows in the 80s and 90s, and guess what? Occasionally they had porn stars on there to talk about the industry. So that wasn't impossible. The other thing is the way they presented him as a nice person who was trying to be artsy about it, I guess. It reminded me of this, there was this documentary called A Life in Dirty Movies about this guy named Joe Sarno, who used to make such movies, but he didn't show you the actual up-close hardcore part. So they kind of qualified as softcore pornographic films, even though sometimes the actors really did engage in sexual activity and sometimes they didn't. And so he wrapped a story around such scenes. He had a common theme of awakening in such movies. And he made money, but he wasn't good with it, and he wound up, when he passed away, he was basically dirt poor. And so that's the way this guy is presented here in these books, is someone you almost sympathize with, and just an overall nice guy. And that's who Dresden has to guard. The other plot line has to do with him. There's a coven of vampires in the area, and he's had enough of them. And he does find out they've been taking children as well. And he's like, okay, I'm going in and killing this. He recruits Karen Murphy, the police detective in charge of the sort of supernatural aspect, which everyone doesn't really believe in. Then he gets this guy called Kincaid, who is in the previous book, as the bodyguard and driver of this new character introduced called the Archive, who is a 7-year-old girl who knows everything that every human being on the planet has ever known since the beginning. So she is a very powerful individual. Turns out Kincaid, you see it through the book that he's really fast, he's really skilled, he really knows what he's doing. Dresden has it's like you've heard of the third eye in magic, the wizard sight. When he looks at Murphy with this wizard sight, she's this angel with a righteous sword and wings and beauty and divinity. He looked at Kincaid and saw some dark demon thing. Turns out Kincaid's been alive for quite a few centuries and was the right-hand man of the father of Dracula, that guy. And so off they go to take care of the vampires. And those are your two big plot lines. But the revelations in this are the big part to this. It's the impact of these things. So I do these semi-spoiler. I don't tell you every little thing, but I am going to tell you about all these revelations. So if you don't want to listen, don't listen. Here we go. Number one, there are a variety of vampires, and among them are sex vampires who feed off the psychic energy of their food. And they keep a constant companion around for that. One of them, introduced in a previous book, turns out to be Harry's half-brother. They have the same mother. This is a mother who has been mentioned a number of times in these books as someone who was probably a wizard. She was. She had a big old fat rebellious streak, and at one point the Wizard Council said, we got to do away with her. She takes up with another sex vampire named Wraith. And this is the guy who's trying to do the curse thing on the filmmaker. So she is actually able to escape Wraith, and went and found another man, just a normal, regular, mortal man, and fell in love with him. And out of that came Harry. As she was giving birth, Wraith apparently showed up and kills her. Wizards can, upon death, utter a curse. And in this case, Wraith found out that he couldn't use the full extent of his powers. And so he's not as big as a threat as he pretends to be, and Harry tries to take advantage of that. But he has a half-brother. Wraith killed his mother, which just almost mentally destroys him. And literally had to be brought to heel by another character before he ran off and did something stupid. We find out, we don't find out anything about the father, only that he existed. Also, originally Harry had a mentor who turned to darkness, and originally Harry thought he was trying to kill him, when in fact, when he defended it against himself, the guy was trying to just make him a mindless thrall. And Harry winds up killing him in self-defense. He's on the Wizards Council shit list for it, but he isn't done away with. They just want to keep an eye on him. So he is handed over this guy called Ebenezer. Really cool name. He's been around for a while. And Ebenezer was his saint, his new father figure, the guy who now trains him to be a wizard, and he respects him. He's the only person that Harry will refer to as Sir. Just loves this guy. Harry finds out his mission wasn't just to be his mentor. This guy was an assassin who was given the power to act on his own against the Wizard Council's wishes. Harry was handed over to him by this council with the orders that if Harry starts getting all rebellious like his mother, you are to kill Harry. Well, happily, Ebenezer, with his power to defy the council, defied that order, because he had all kinds of opportunities, as revealed, to kill Harry, and he didn't. Instead, just raised him and trained him. Still, he can't trust him anymore, so they have a falling out, and for now, but he's got a lot of drama to deal with. Amongst them too, in the first book, this rogue wizard made use of a demon to try to get at Harry, and Harry winds up, dispatching this demon. Oh, oops, there's this evil ritual enacted, and temporarily the demon pops its little head up and says, oh, Harry, hi, I remember you, I didn't forget. So he's got a demon enemy, he's got family issues, there's still vampires out there, he's got the Wizard Council still to deal with. Him and Murphy get a deeper relationship in this. And it turns out, here's some good character development for Harry. He in previous books, even though he's tall, he's like 6'8", he's basically on the skinny side, doesn't exercise. He can be physically dominated by Murphy, who's only 5 foot tall and 100 pounds, even though she's a full-blown martial artist. Still, he has a great physical advantage over her, and he can't defeat her. But in this, he lets you know he's a jogger now. In the book, he has a sparring session with Murphy. She's training him in armed and unarmed combat. Ooh, good. So he's improving himself. The other thing is to like no other book before it so far. The last book he was doing it, and this book he does it in spades. He's taking charge. When people start defying him, I'm bringing you in, and they start defying his ideas and his orders. He is able to put his foot down, and with real righteous anger. And they're like, all right, well, I guess we're going to do it your way. Whereas he, previously he was a bit of a pushover with the people he was allies with. I did identify what I think is a big plot hole. I suppose there's one tiny way to dismiss it. In all these books, Harry always mentions that him and technology, because of all the magic surrounding him, do not agree. So he doesn't have a phone because eventually it's just going to short out. He doesn't have a computer because eventually it will short out. No electronic technology works for long around him. So when he was on a talk show and they wanted a demonstration, he told them, look, I can't really do it because if I do, I'm going to short out all your cameras. Okay, so something didn't quite settle with me on that, but fine. If the rest of the world doesn't believe in wizardry and magic and vampires and fairies and all that stuff, even though he is a working wizard. And so in this book, when he recruits Murphy to go get this vampire coven, she's like, look, give me 30 minutes and I can get like 200 SWAT guys in here. And he's like, you think your SWAT guys are going to believe that you're going to run in with a wizard to take out vampires? And she's like, okay, I guess I can't count him to do that. Well, now maybe that can't be recorded because he'll short out the cameras, but so what? If all he has to do with Murphy's assistant is either go and kind of gather enough people who are in law enforcement together, or take time and go to each individual precinct and go, recording or not, it doesn't matter. Just get them to see it and do your magic. It ain't gonna be like he's pulling a rabbit out of a hat. He's got real magic and fire and all kinds of stuff he can do to show them, oh, look, dudes, I really am a friggin' wizard. And then he can do things like, yeah, call in the 200 SWAT guys, because like, oh crap, there are vampires? Yeah, let's go kill the vampires. The only way I can dismiss that plot hole is the fact that the Wizard Council do want to keep a low profile, and he kind of wants to obey them to a certain extent, even though he's out public being a wizard for hire. And maybe there could be backlash from the magical community to go, oh, look, the humans know about us. But at the same time, that would just create more drama that you can write about. But I don't know, it just seems like a big old fat plot hole to me that he could just go around giving demonstrations to law enforcement and then he can call on them whenever he wants to. Still, these are enjoyable reads. As I explained to people, these are not amazing literature, but they are fun. And I'm at the moment getting through them quickly, although it's because I'm still not working. But on to the 7th book, Deadbeat. So again, let me read this to you. I have not read it yet, the description yet. Paranormal investigations are Harry Dresden's business, and Chicago is his beat as he tries to bring law and order to a world of wizards and monsters that exist alongside everyday life. And though most inhabitants of the Windy City don't believe in magic, the Special Investigations Department of the Chicago PD knows better. That would be the Special Investigations, or SI, is what Karen Murphy, she's the head of that. But still, the police just thinks let's just go with the funny stuff to her and she'll go deal with it or something. Even though they don't believe in wizards and magic and all that stuff. Karen Murphy is the head of SI and Harry's good friend, so when a killer vampire threatens to destroy Murphy's reputation, unless Harry does her bidding, he has no choice. The vampire wants the Word of Kemmler. Whatever that is. That's what it says on the back of the book, whatever that is. And all the power that comes with it. So we have a word of power of some sort. Now Harry is in a race against time and 6 merciless necromancers to find the word before Chicago experiences a Halloween night to wake the dead. So far so good. I'm just rolling right through these things. Maybe I'll do all 15 of them right in a row. I don't think I've ever read 15 books of the series in a row, but I am giving it a shot. That's it for that. This is my 99th video. So the next one is the 100th. I have picked a book tag to do, and I'll throw in a little, I bought some books besides this one today, and I'll show those off, and that'll be that for a 100th video, and looking forward to the next 100 after that, I guess. Thank you very much. Have a lovely day now. Bye-bye.